Hey sis, you made it through day 9. You are pushing along well. Keep going. Do not give up. Even if you fell off the wagon and ate something you shouldn't have eaten or ate too soon, just keep going. The one thing the enemy wants you to do is give up or not take this seriously. And it's like, y'all, we got things to break off our bloodlines. We got deeper relationship to gain with God. So keep on keeping on. But today I just briefly want to talk about watching your words. Our words truly do have power. And even though we can't speak things into existence like how God did when he created the universe and just be like, boom, here it is out of nothing, we do have power in our words, and our words do have lasting effects. And so we have to be mindful of not only how we speak over ourselves, but also how we speak to and over other people. Because we don't realize how deep our words really do go, and how long they last in someone's mind, or how much they might internalize it. Like, prime example, some of you may or may not know, but my family is West Indian, Caribbean descent. And so I grew up going to the Caribbean a lot because my aunts and uncles are all like, my parents' immediate siblings are all in the Caribbean. So to see them, it was just easier for me to fly to them instead of them having to all try to come to the US and everything like that. So when I would get off the plane, wherever I was visiting them, whether it was Jamaica, Belize, Guyana, whatever, and one of the first things they would say is, "Hey, yeah, you're getting fat." Like it was just, it was just the thing. Like, culturally speaking, people love bringing up your weight in the Caribbean. Whether it's like, "Oh, you're so skinny," or, "Oh, yeah, you're getting fat." It's always something about your weight. It's like, why are y'all so concerned about my body? And honestly, I do think that it bothers people, but they're so used to it, they just deal with it. I think it bothers people, and you could tell in the way that they act, but that's another conversation for another day, because I could really get on my soapbox about that. So I'm gonna reel it back on in. But needless to say, that's one of the first things they would say. So I started to internalize that, because even though for them it's culturally normal and it's just like, hey, it is what it is, it's no biggie, you're too sensitive if you take offense to that. I grew up in America, and in America, weight is a big deal. Like, making sure, especially in the Black and brown communities, like having that perfect Coke bottle, hourglass shape, the tiny waist with the big booty, the hip to waist ratio got to be just right. Like, you got to have it just together, and so me being a tall woman, because I'm 5'11", and I don't have curves for days. I got enough curves to get me by, but it ain't like bop, 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 it's not, it's not giving that at all, but it's like, okay, I see you got some curves, and I got, a little junk in the trunk or what have you, but needless to say, I and still am not the build that just naturally lent itself to me being confident and being affirmed. Like, girl, you got a nice body, and that's never really been the thing. Give or take some body parts that would get complimented. And so I'm growing up hearing all this stuff, and I'm just like, man, maybe I really am fat. Maybe I need to not eat as much. Maybe I need to do this or do that. And I'm a young girl hearing this and thinking this way. And when I look back at pictures of my younger self, I would say all the way through like my college years, give or take maybe like my senior year, I'm like, girl, you thought you were fat back then? That's literally the body that I want today. Like, today, yes, I can lose some weight, and I'm working on it, and God has brought me a mighty long way, and I still am, evolving in that journey. But it's like, that's the body you trying to get now. And you thought you were fat back then. Like, you wanted to like starve yourself back then. You wanted to do all these things back then because you kept hearing, oh, you're getting fat, you're getting fat, you're getting fat. So it's just like, you have to mind your words, not only over yourself, but how you speak to other people. Even if you dress it up in a joke, that stuff still resonates. Just because someone's like, ah, ha, 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 that doesn't mean it didn't hurt. That doesn't mean that they didn't go home and internalize it. So let's be wiser with our words. And just because you might have thicker skin than the next person, that doesn't make it okay either. Because sometimes it's like, oh, you just got to get over it. No, you have to watch your words. And because I always say a lot of truth comes out in jokes, to be honest. So if you want to know how somebody really feel about you, listen to them jokes. But again, another story for another day. But especially when you're speaking over yourself too, Watch your words. How are you talking to yourself? Are you your worst critic? Are you beating yourself up mentally every day? Like, oh, you can't get nothing right. Oh, you won't succeed. Oh, you want this. You want that. Like, eventually you're going to start to believe that, because eventually the words that you're constantly saying and hearing become your mindset. And once it becomes your mindset, it's the foundation of your belief system. So you're going to start to believe you can't get nothing right. You're going to start to believe that you'll never be successful. You're going to start to believe ain't nobody going to want you with that child or those children, or, you know, until you lose 50 pounds or whatever. Like, you're going to start to believe these things, and you're going to come into agreement with it on how you live your life. And that's what the enemy wants. He wants you to be discouraged. He wants you to come into agreement with these things that are false. And so we have to watch our words, whether we say them out loud or not, whether we say them over ourselves or to somebody else. We have to watch our words. And I'm very big on you are statements, but one thing I can't stand, especially when it comes to my child, is when people say you are followed by a negative word. Like, you are a brat. You are so dumb. You don't have common sense. You know, things like that really grind my gears. They really burn my biscuits. You can ask anyone that knows me. I will stop you dead in your tracks. Be like, hold on now. You're not going to talk to my child like that. You're not going to talk to me or whatever like that. So let's watch our words. Let's speak to ourselves positively. The same energy that you give behind the negative, you can give towards the positive. It's a choice. You make the decision. So you have to fight that inclination to always want to err towards the negative and things that are not good for you. And when it comes to how you speak to yourself, and lean towards the positive and things in the Bible. Use scripture to speak over yourself. Work it into your daily conversation. The Bible ain't just there for decoration. Use it. Implement it in your daily life. So that's all I have for you today. I will talk to you tomorrow, sis. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of For My Sisters Rondelle podcast. Don't forget to keep the conversation going and use the hashtag For My Sisters Pod on social media so I can see you and show you some love. If there are any topics you'd like me to discuss on the podcast, be sure to email formysisterspodcast@gmail.com. I'll see you on the next episode. Love you. Bye.